Let's take a look at this problem together. It's not that difficult of a problem, but it does have a few little pieces in it that tend to be tricky. And the piece that I think is the most tricky is this right here. So the question says, the vectors a, b, and c are related by the equation c is equal to b minus a. Which diagram best illustrates this relationship? Well, the part that I think is most confusing is this minus sign. So I'm going to rearrange this equation. And there's nothing that says I can't move this a to the other side. So I'm going to say that this is a plus c is equal to b. And this says that if I were to draw the arrows that represent these vectors, I have vector a. This is vector a. If this is vector c, then b will have to be the addition of these two. So let's look at what a and c would be. So this vector addition says take a, and when you get to the end of a, we started over here, we got to the end at the tip of the arrow. So now we're going to start here for our second vector. So c points in the up to the left, so I'm going to draw a vector up to the left and label that c. And I drew a and c just arbitrary vectors, but what it comes down to is that a follows by c. A plus C will give me B, and B is the arrow that best represents from the beginning to the end in one straight shot. So B would be, how do we get from the very beginning to the very end in a straight line? So I'm looking for the arrows to match up in this relationship where A starts at some point, it starts at the same point as B. A goes to some point where C starts. So I go A plus C gives me B. And I look, well, A goes into B. I need A and B to start at the same point, not where they're one after another. A, B, this is another case where I start at A and then B starts right after A, not at the same point. This is one that initially doesn't look bad. A starts there, B starts there. It looks like what I have, A starting at one point, B starting at the same point. However, C points in the wrong direction. C would have to point backwards. So this would be B plus C gives me A. Let's look at D. A and B both start at the same point, so I'm checking that off. And A is followed directly by C. So D looks like my correct answer.